When you think of the Old West, what comes to mind? Cowboys with dusty hats, gritty outlaws, intense standoffs, and vast, untamed landscapes, right? For decades, history books and Hollywood movies have painted a picture of a world dominated by men. But that's only half the story. The truth is, the American West was shaped by some of the toughest, most brilliant, and most daring women in history. These weren't just damsels in distress waiting to be saved. They were sharpshooters, cowgirls, mail carriers, and yes, even outlaws who carved their own legends into the heart of the frontier. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on these incredible women. The saloon queens and sharpshooters who proved that courage has no gender. Get ready to meet the real heroines of the Wild West. Let's start with a name you've probably heard. Calamity Jane. Born Martha Jane Cannery in 1852, her life was anything but ordinary. Growing up on the harsh frontier, she learned to survive from a young age. Calamity Jane wasn't your typical Victorian lady. She preferred buckskins to dresses, rode a horse better than most men, and was a dead shot with a rifle. She worked as an army scout, a pony express rider, and even claimed to have fought alongside soldiers. Her reputation was built on her fearless, larger-than-life personality. She was often seen with the famous lawman and gunfighter Wild Bill Hickok. And though the exact nature of their relationship is still debated by historians, their names became forever linked in the legends of Deadwood, South Dakota. But beneath her rough exterior, Jane had a surprisingly compassionate side. During a smallpox outbreak, she was one of the few who bravely nursed the sick, showing a kindness that contrasted with her tough public image. Later in life, she joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, where she captivated audiences with tales of her adventures. Calamity Jane lived life on her own terms, a true symbol of frontier independence. Next up, we have a woman who didn't just break barriers, she shattered them with a single shot. I'm talking about the one and only Annie Oakley. Born Phoebe Ann Moses in 1860, Annie's journey to stardom started out of necessity. As a child, she began hunting to support her widowed mother and siblings. And it quickly became clear she had an extraordinary gift. Her accuracy was simply phenomenal. She could shoot a playing card in half from 90 feet away, hit a dime tossed in the air, and even shoot a cigarette out of her husband's mouth. Annie Oakley became the star attraction of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, mesmerizing audiences across America and Europe. Kings and queens lined up to see her perform. Unlike the rowdy image of many frontier figures, Annie was known for her professionalism, grace, and modesty. She presented a new image of what a woman with a gun could be, skilled, disciplined, and respectable. But Annie was more than just an entertainer. She was a passionate advocate for female empowerment. She believed every woman should know how to handle a firearm for self-defense, and personally taught thousands of women how to shoot. She proved that skill and strength weren't exclusive to men, and her legacy continues to inspire people to this day. Now, let's ride into the dusty rodeo arena with Lucille Mulhall. Hailed as the world's first cowgirl, Lucille was a true pioneer of rodeo sports. Born on her family's ranch in Oklahoma, she was practically raised in the saddle. By the time she was a teenager, she could ride, rope, and bust broncos with the best of them. Her father, Colonel Zach Mulhall, created his own Wild West show, and Lucille quickly became its star. She was a phenomenal trick rider and a master with a lariat. Audiences were stunned to see a young woman performing such dangerous and physically demanding feats. She would rope multiple horses at once and even competed against men in steer roping competitions, often winning. President Theodore Roosevelt himself was a huge fan, once calling her a ranch woman. Lucille Mulhall shattered the stereotype that ranch work and rodeo were men's jobs. She wasn't just performing. She was competing at the highest level, opening the door for generations of female rodeo athletes to follow. In 1975, she was rightfully inducted into the Rodeo Hall of Fame, cementing her status as a trailblazing legend of the West. From the rodeo arena, we move to the treacherous mail routes of Montana, where we meet the unstoppable Mary Fields, better known as Stagecoach Mary. Her story is one of incredible resilience. Born into slavery around 1832, Mary gained her freedom after the Civil War and eventually made her way west. At the age of 60, when most people were thinking about retiring, Mary took on one of the most dangerous jobs on the frontier. She became the second woman and the first African-American woman to work as a star route mail carrier for the U.S. Postal Service. Her route was rugged and perilous. She had to navigate blizzards, treacherous terrain, and fend off wolves and bandits. To protect herself and the mail, Mary always carried a rifle and a revolver. They say she was tough as nails, standing over 6 feet tall and never backing down from a fight. She was so reliable that she never missed a day of delivery. If the snow was too deep for her wagon, she'd strap on snowshoes and carry the mail on her back. Mary Fields defied every racial and gender stereotype of her era. She was a respected, independent business owner and a beloved local character in Cascade, Montana. Her life is a powerful testament to the strength and determination that define the spirit of the true West. Of course, not every famous woman of the Old West wore a white hat. Let's talk about Pearl Hart, a woman who became one of the era's most notorious outlaws. Her story offers a different glimpse into the hardships of frontier life. Born in Canada, Pearl ended up in Arizona, and after a series of misfortunes, she found herself desperate for money. In 1899, she and a male accomplice decided to rob a stagecoach. It was one of the last stagecoach robberies in the American West, and the fact that a woman was involved made it a national sensation. After they were captured, Pearl Hart played the media like a fiddle. She gave interviews from her jail cell, creating a persona for herself. She claimed she only robbed the stagecoach to get money to go see her sick mother. Whether that was true or not, the public was fascinated. A woman outlaw was a novelty, and her story challenged the idea that crime was exclusively a man's game. Pearl famously declared, "I shall not be tried under a law I had no voice in making, while her life of crime is nothing to celebrate." Her story reveals the desperation that drove many on the frontier and shows how even an outlaw could become a legend. Before Annie Oakley became the undisputed queen of sharpshooting, there was another young woman who dazzled audiences with her incredible marksmanship, Lillian Smith. At just 14 years old, Lillian joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, billed as the champion California huntress. She was a phenomenal trick shooter, known for her speed and flamboyant style. Lillian could shoot glass balls out of the air with lightning-fast succession and perform incredible feats on horseback. For a time, she was a direct rival to Annie Oakley. The show's promoters loved to play up this rivalry, creating a dramatic storyline of two competing sharpshooters. While Annie was known for her modest and professional demeanor, Lillian was flashy, confident, and a bit of a show-off. She embodied a different kind of female performer, one who was bold and unapologetic about her talent. Although Annie Oakley's legacy eventually overshadowed hers, Lillian Smith was a massive star in her own right. She proved that even as a teenager, a woman could command the stage and captivate the world with a rifle in her hands, becoming one of America's first female shooting superstars. From Calamity Jane's rugged individualism to Annie Oakley's refined skill, from Lucille Mulhall's rodeo prowess to Stagecoach Mary's unwavering grit, the women of the Old West were as diverse and dynamic as the land they helped tame. They were heroes and outlaws, performers and pioneers. Each one, in her own unique way, defied the expectations of her time and refused to be a footnote in someone else's story. They demonstrated that strength, courage, and resilience are universal qualities, not defined by gender. These women didn't just live in the Old West. They built it, they defined it, and they left an indelible mark on American history. Their stories serve as a powerful reminder that the frontier was never just a man's world. It belonged to anyone brave enough to claim it. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the real history of the Wild West, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories. Let me know in the comments which of these amazing women you found most inspiring. Until next time, stay curious.